Hello and welcome. I'm your host and moderator, Karthik Manoharan. I head the solution sales for SAI Digital. We at SAI Digital offer a full service e-commerce consultancy focusing on customer experience solutions. Thank you for taking your time to join us today as we talk about 4 reasons why zero touch digital experiences will lead the way for manufacturer to consumer commerce in 2022. Given the current global conditions, as buyers across the entire value chain increasingly prefer a touchless sales experience, B2B organizations are shifting to a direct-to-consumer model. Most manufacturers who have traditionally relied on their dealer network to grow their business are still preparing to meet the new wave of experience-focused economy in which customer centricity has become the focal point for the sales process. Early adopters of this move in the post-pandemic era have seen significant revenue gains. A study of B2B sellers and buyers by Forrester Consulting found that buyers surveyed are on 34% average more likely to buy from companies that master customer experience than from those that do not do. Moreover, B2B leaders are 18% more likely than laggards to have exceeded their revenue goals in the previous 12 months. Building a seamless customer experiences, on the other hand, presents its own set of challenges, particularly for organizations which large trade networks and multiple sales channels. In this webinar, we will learn about the key tactics that can be used to help navigate all the levels of complex trade models. In this webinar, you'll learn about 1. How to create 24/7 self-service commerce for distributors, retailers, and others in your trade network. 2. What data visibility of your entire network is critical towards improving customer engagement. How can this be used for experience management in post-pandemic era? 3. How real-time insights and actionable dashboards can help you build digital reliance and navigate unpredictable market scenarios. And number 4, how leveraging data-led promotion and marketing tactics can help boost revenue through your partner network. With no further delay, it's time to introduce our speaker for this webinar today, Mr. Bharani Krishnan. He is a Vice President, Center of Excellence, Consumer Industries at SAP Singapore. He's an experienced consumer industry professional with over 20 years of experience in delivering retail consumer product solutions in the key markets like Southeast Asia, Middle East, and India. He has an extensive experience in industry segments like consumer goods and retail. He has architected a next generation distribution management solution for CPG companies using SAP Retail. And also he's an adjunct faculty in Singapore Management University conducting the retail operation course. So welcome to Bharani.
Thanks, Karthik. That was a long introduction. And as always, it's very interesting to collaborate with Sai on these new ideas. And I'm happy that you have taken up this and we are ready to go forward in launching this solution and launching this service to our customers in the manufacturing segment.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure having you for this webinar, Mr. Bharani Krishnan. So let's start with the webinar. So I would like to go with a few questions where we can have more discussions in detail about your experience about managing these consumer retail customers, observing the trends, what directions the future is going to give them post-pandemic era. So to start with, my first question to you is, according to you, why have manufacturers failed to adopt CX strategies in full measure as compared to their retail counterparts? What's your thought about it?
Manufacturers traditionally are very secure in their business, right? So they had a very, very well-oiled channel management where they were going to their end consumers through various dealers, distributors, retailers. And they were not impacted very much when the digital explosion happened. The retailers were in the forefront. Yeah. And they were caught in the tsunami, right? So retailers had to evolve and they had no other choice. And then as you see retail is evolving, retail industry, retail was now more considered as an industry. It was more becoming as a competency. There were a lot of pure digital players who ventured into retail without even opening stores, right? So, and then the marketplaces came, and the manufacturers thought this marketplace is another channel through which they can reach their consumers, and they were able to create another channel for their products. But what has happened is that slowly their connect with the consumers has been diluted. And with the digital explosion, there was a new kind of engagement that the consumers were expecting from their trusted brands, right? So this forced many manufacturers to test some kind of a direct to consumer model without looking at various other aspects which need to be addressed when you embark on a CX journey, right? Customer experience journey. So what they did was to test a few e-commerce sites to see how their consumers were interacting with them. And then they soon realized that it is not going to yield the results if we approach this way. So they did have to, they understood, they learned very fast. Our brand owners and manufacturers, they learn very fast. And now they are more focusing on connecting to the end consumer. But at the same time, in order to do that, they have to strengthen the ecosystem with a digital platform, right? So that has become a big change that they're looking at. Previously, we did have distributors having kind of an ERP solution at their distributor points, or dealers and retailers having their own IT solutions to run their operations, but they were all disconnected. Now the need has come to bring all of them on a single platform or a shared platform where it can be, data can be shared, and they would evolve into better addressing the consumers. And this initiative, as usual, has to be taken by the brands and manufacturers in order to strengthen their channels.
Understood. I mean, sounds very interesting days in the days to come, where manufacturers are trying to do a direct-to-consumer model. But given that, regardless of all the challenges faced by such organizations, Mr. Bharani, what are some of the exceptional benefits they could gain from digitizing their value chain? What is your observation on that?
One major, there are many benefits, right? So there are unlimited benefits, if you ask me. And every day they will unearth new ways and new innovative ways in which they can change their operations. At the same time, they could also come up with new kinds of business models, etc. But some of the key benefits which is known to everybody is that stock visibility, which is very, very important, inventory visibility across the value chain, whether it is with the manufacturer or the distributor or the retailer, the entire visibility should be there. This would provide them in fulfilling the requirements of the consumers faster. Managing the entire pricing better, right? So because today in this world, pricing is, you have surge pricing when you book a cab, right? So sometimes you're willing to pay more, sometimes you're willing to pay less, right? So even the same consumer, depending on the situation and the time and the need, is willing to pay more or willing to, there's a supply demand issue, right? So similarly, there's a new kind of pricing that you could evolve, right? So where if you need to look at a targeted customer segment to penetrate, you might offer a special pricing. But if it is a customer base which is very loyal to you, and you can have a steady pricing and maybe give more benefits which are volume based, right? So these kind of fine tuning on your pricing and promotions, and becoming very sharp across the value chain, so that your dealers and retailers also promote your brands very effectively, is very important. Absolutely. Promotion budgets, the biggest budget item for any manufacturers. Deploying the right promotion in the right channel was always a question for them. And know the effectiveness of the promotion, they have to wait for the end of the promotion period.
Yeah. Understood.
To collect the data. So now today they have a real-time information where they can manage this very, very effectively. And if a particular promotion is doing well or not well, they can fine-tune it and make it more relevant to that segment. Similarly, launch of new products, very, very important, right, for brands. the right launch, and then looking at how these launches are are executed, and the messaging is delivered to the entire value chain on the benefits of the products that they are building and providing to their consumers. So, as I said, many such benefits. Similarly, the most important from the retailer and the distributor side is that quick onboarding of their employees. They're able to train their employees.
Yeah.
They can make even their employees remotely work from home. Even distributors, salesmen are not coming to distributors, right? So remotely working from home, and ensure there is a flexibility in their operation, and they provide more ways in which they can exploit I won't say exploit, they can provide better benefits for their employees to be with them and exploit the technology to excel themselves, right? So these are some of the key benefits that comes to top of my mind.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that very vital information. I mean, I was quite excited to hear that there is an unlimited benefits. I'm sure that the participants of this webinar will be also quite excited. And I see that, yes, there are like quite a lot of benefit which is coming in, not only from a consumer benefits perspective, but also managing their entire trade network till the point of giving more free hand to their employees who do the sales or operations using this particular digitalized solution. So with that, I have my next question, where I wanted to know if you could share your key learnings that B2B organization can take from B2C organizations, and when thinking about setting up their own e-commerce stores. So how relevant these two business can really learn from each other, or probably a B2B organization can learn from a B2C organization.
So when everybody started, good question, when everybody started their commerce journey, right? So they wanted to create a commerce platform where the consumers can come and buy. When you talk about direct B2C, the key thing was price and promotion.
Absolutely.
That was the main attraction. But then if you look at it today, there is no differentiation between price and promotion between various sites, right? So then you end up giving more, and it's not sustainable operations.
Yeah.
More and more B2C organizations have realized personalization and providing the right experience is more important than price and promotion. I'm not saying price and promotion is not a big item, but definitely there is a big shift into personalization, looking at providing the right experience, identifying those customer touch points, and ensuring that you have a sustainable way in which you can reach out to your customer and prove to them that there is value in being associated with your brand, right? So this is a lesson that the B2C organizations learned very fast, and they are now coming up with niche offering which look at the customer journey of different customer segments and provide the right kind of experience. This is a valuable learning for B2B, right? Instead of just starting on a commerce option where they want to go direct to consumer, they need to look at what is the story and what is the value that they can bring to various segments that they are operating in, and then build their own messaging, pricing, promotion, strategy, in all providing the right personalization and experience to the end consumer.
Understood. So it's going beyond the regular price and promotion strategies, where personalization has become more important even in the B2B organization. So that's a good point, actually, and it's a good takeaway for the audience for today's webinar. That leaves me with the next question. So a lot of organizations are still hesitant to digitalize their operators because of the concern that regarding disruption to their existing network. So the moment you get into a new solution or a new platform, that might challenge the traditional way of their running their existing networks. So according to you, what are some of the ways they can mitigate such risks? How could they really educate their trade network or train their trade network? What's your observation on that?
So the biggest challenge that they face is that the channel partners feel that they will lose their privacy, or they will lose their secure way of operation. They think that there will be somebody prying on them, right? So the biggest challenge is this. And if there are a lot of companies which have overcome this challenge, and especially in the in the consumer product space, right? So they have built the right kind of model by which they ensure that the key partners and stakeholders in this are sure of the benefits, and they have the flexibility to choose today how they want to share their data, right? And some important data is about stock and what price they sell is important. What is not important for the brand is how much profit these guys are making. Some way of backdoor calculation to understand whether the operations is profitable for this distributor. How can you penalize him more? No, that's not the approach, right? We look at an approach where if he's making more money, try to improve his money much more so that he can build the market on his own. Because the distributor also knows it's a hen which lays a golden egg every day, right? So he will also try to improve the operations and improve the returns from the investments that are being made. So transparency and building trust with all the channel partners is very, very important, and identifying the key benefits not only from the brand manufacturer's view but also from the stakeholders' view. Value benefit is very, very important. So I can share with you one example. One of the large CP companies which sell toothpaste in India, the #1 brand, when they went on this operation of digitizing their entire distributors and bringing them on their own one single platform, one of the biggest benefits the distributors came back and told the organization is that the claims turnaround period moved away from 3 months to 15 days.
Okay.
See, this is a benefit which really impacts the bottom line of the distributor.
Yeah.
We could, instead of holding 3 months of finance and capital in claims, if you could invest in stocks, you can turn it better. If you can invest in some kind of market development activity, it improves the brand's presence better, the distributor's profitability better, right? So this clearly translates into the bottom line of the distributor, right? So these kind of objectives should be clearly stated and have the partners sign in for it, and the principal sign in, and they deliver on these values will improve the transformation journey and add impetus to what they're trying to do.
Understood. Yeah. Sounds good. I mean, thanks for sharing that use case, which really gave us a thought on how the whole thing has been managed and practically how successful they were implementing such digital solution. So the next point which I wanted to discuss with you, Mr. Bharani, is a strong CX is built on the value it provides to their end user, right? So, which in this case, our end users are predominantly the distributors and retail networks for a B2B organization. So, according to you, how can digitization enhance the value offering they can provide to their network? So it's like 2 levels. So we're talking about the first level. Now we need to think from an aspect of distributors and retailers and how they could enhance their value offering to their the end customer or the network of their side. So what's your observation on that?
So look, okay, first I will spend a little bit on the brand side. And one of the key things that the brands provide is an opportunity for the distributors and retailers to do business on their brands, right? Manufacturers, their products, right? And they provide this opportunity. Imagine if I am a new distributor, right? My experience of becoming a distributor for a particular manufacturer, if it is a very tiring and harrowing experience, right? I would walk away from that. Today, it should be ease of starting business, right? And if a distributor could be onboarded remotely or a retailer onboarded remotely, because he has got to other options or other businesses, especially retailers, they have other businesses, other brands and manufacturers to deal with, right? Distributor, yes, he can also look at other brands if it is becoming very difficult to even to start a business with a particular manufacturer. So how do you start their business? How do the manufacturer train my staff to sell their brands better? How do they develop my resources? How quickly can I be onboarded?
Okay.
Right? And improve the bottom line by reducing cost of operations, right? So for example, if I have a brand, I have another distribution business with another manufacturer for the same territory, and I need 6 salesmen there, but I am doing better business here with only 2 salesmen, then it becomes a clear cost operation model, right?
Yeah.
And you also provide inputs to the distributor as to how to optimize not only his operations with this particular brand, but he also can use this as a best practice for his other operations, right? If he wants to build on that. And then, like I said, reduction in claim turnaround, clarity in pricing and promotions, because it is seamless. It is very clear what is the offering between the manufacturer and the distributor and the retailer. And there is no hidden agenda between any of them because the data is shared across. So for example, there's a promotion, it is announced to the retailer, the distributor will deliver, everything will go smoothly because there is no time lag. And it starts kicking in from as soon as it is activated in the system, right? It's not, you can say, I'll start from this day, but from what time, right? So it starts kicking on from that time itself. And then it helps you to create more trust in the entire value chain.
Absolutely.
Right. And then finally, all this will tell upon how they service their customers. For example, if the distributor is happy with the manufacturer or a brand, he will be more happy to serve his retailers for this particular business, right? Similarly, the retailer, if he's very happy with the distributor and what kind of support he's getting from the manufacturer and the distributors, he would be more happy to take on servicing more consumers and become an advocate for their brands, right? So it's got a multiplier effect.
I understood. Absolutely.
And going forward, there are lots of new innovations happening, right? Once you start this ecosystem journey, once you have the right kind of data, you can get into a kind of a retailer self-service ordering, a retailer sharing his data in real time for better benefits, right? So you could come up with new ways and tactics in which you can improve our performance, identify the key top 20 or top 30 contributors for you in the retail and the distribution business, spend more time there, increase their presence, increase the call percentage or productivity percentage of their sales staff, etc. So much you could transform in your business. And I think the proof of the pudding, like we say, during the pandemic, many of our manufacturers, distributors, and retailers tried various ways, social media, etc., to test waters. And I think now they really understand the importance of this last mile connectivity and being a part of a platform or a channel which seamlessly integrates both sides. Right. So it's very, very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, quite a lot of information discussed, Mr. Barani. Thanks a lot for your time and participation. I do understand that now B2B and B2C has no major difference in terms of reaching out to their consumers. And it's high time for the B2B organizations to digitize their trade network where they can do direct to consumer. And as per your observation and your understanding about the various consumer industry and retail, you were talking about unlimited benefits provided they get into the digitalization. And also it's no more a B2C only focusing on the personalization, but now the time has come where B2B also need to start focusing on the personalization beyond the pricing and promotional strategies they have. And also I understand that you have a use case where one of the manufacturers in India, so how did they go through this process of ensuring that they mitigate the risk of their trade network by digitalizing? And finally, as you said, it also helps the dealers and retailers to enhance their customer service, which in turn increases the revenue for the brand. So I think those were a lot of amazing thoughts and amazing information shared. Once again, thank you for your participation. Now I would like to thank all of the participants who've been into this webinar for the last 30-40 minutes. And those of you who watched with us today live, and those who will be watching it later as a recorded session, if you have any questions, please reach out to the contact details in the email that you will receive after the webinar or during your registration process. So just in case, you can also check your spam box if in case the mail lands there. So once again, thank you all for joining us today. Hope you had a wonderful session. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for this opportunity, Karthik.
Thank you, Barney.